So essentially, the idea is, how do we start, helping clients to acquire 5 to 10 clients in a month, right? And this is especially suitable for Junaid as well, Ketan bhai for you as well, and even for you as well. So the idea is, if you primarily look at it right now, the lead gen and the is completely changed the way of doing business. Earlier, it used to be far more simpler, far more straightforward, but things have changed a lot, right? So that's what we are going to be covering today. And at the end of the 3 days challenge, I have a very special gift for you, which I'll share. Once you're a part of the end of the 3 days, so you'll get an idea of what exactly that is. So that'll be really helpful for helping you to kind of manage your business going forward. And it's extremely important to actively participate, because only then this 3 days is going to be worth it, right? Without that, it's going to be a huge waste of time for all of us. So do participate. There'll be some tasks as well which you'll have to perform, because that will give you more context regarding how you can approach going forward as well. So I know that there are distractions all around us, but the strategy can potentially change your life and your business. So I urge you to make a commitment to stay focused, right? Stop checking email and WhatsApp. Stop checking Instagram. Please give complete attention for the next 1 hour that we are having here today. So imagine what your life would be like, right? After you learn the skill to acquire 5 to 10 new clients every month without, very complex marketing tactics or expensive marketing agencies. Would that make things better for you, right? So this is, what the normal life is for all of us, right? If you're working in a corporate, it's like a hamster wheel. Doesn't matter how much hard we work, we are still stuck at the same place and we don't move forward. And on the other hand, if you're working in a startup, which most of us are as part of a BNI, right? It's like moving a rock up the mountain. It's an extremely hard life, very difficult to acquire customers, very difficult to retain employees, constantly you're firefighting. It's an extremely uphill challenge, right? This is what the current business is like this right now. And AI is Thanos. I'm sure most of you would relate to this reference, right? It could eliminate half the startups and small businesses in the world. And this has just happened, after COVID, right? So over 35,000 MSMEs have so far shut shop post COVID, and this is just the ones which are recorded. So I'm sure you know that MCA has made the guidelines to close a company extremely tough. So this is just the ones that we know about. There are so many lakhs of them potentially which we don't even know about. So essentially, businesses have become extremely hard post COVID, right? So that is why this workshop is for. So essentially, who is this for, right? If you're a B2B business, if you're a B2B tech or a SaaS startup, if you're a high value B2C business, right, where your ticket sizes are like minimum 10 to 20,000 and beyond. If you're a coach, consultant, service business, if you're a certified professional like a lawyer or accountant, right, then this is extremely helpful for you. So the idea is, how do you create AI enabled customer acquisition system to grow your business? So my goal for this challenge over the next 3 days is to give you the most reliable way for you to acquire more customers in 2024 through a complete AI-based business and marketing automation system. So you're probably wondering why I'm qualified to teach on this topic, right? So I've been a head of marketing of 2 international companies. One was in Singapore, one was in Dubai. They were doing 100 CR plus of revenue, and I was heading the marketing over there. I was a VP at R Ventures, which is one of the leading VC funds in India, where we would help early stage startups raise funds. I was regional sales manager for Paytm, regional sales for Johnson and Johnson, and I was the head of startups at World Trade Hub, which was the trade promotion wing for World Trade Center Pune, where we would help Indian companies. I'm sure you must have heard of MyLabs, right? So MyLabs is a Pune-based company which we helped expand to 10 international geographies, and I was the head of startups over there. So this is like a very short bio about myself. Uh, you know, and on a personal level, I went to solo backpacking across Europe when I was just 23 during my exchange semester of my MBA program. I represented my college in multiple dance, football, volleyball, sports activities. So I'm a huge passionate about dance and sports. I started my first online diagnostics business in India in 2017, right? So PharmEasy was actually started by one of my seniors at NMIMS, and taking inspiration from him, I started my first online diagnostics business in 2017. Unfortunately, they grew to a big size. We could not grow to that level because we were unable to raise funds. So that's the difference. But that's how it typically started. I shut it down in 2022, 2020 due to COVID. I worked as senior marketing leader in 2 crypto exchanges and the head of startups at World Trade Center Pune, helping businesses with international GTM. So I'm not sure if you know, this is Mr. Ramesh Chauhan on the right. He's the chairman of Bisleri. and this was in my very first year, right? I got a certificate of appreciation from him. Uh, this is another, the photo is not very clear, it's very old. So this was in Johnson and Johnson, where I got another certificate of, my entire team for best performers award, right? So, there are lots of these photos, lots of these certificates over the decade of my work experience, which is there. I would not bore you with all of that. This is, a part of my experience during my backpacking days when I was in France in 2013, sorry, in 2012, when I was just 23. So this is just, a small personal bio about me. These are some of the testimonials, right? Bharti, I helped set up an entire marketing strategy. She used to run an HR consulting company, and I helped her with that. I mentored Vikram for a startup, which was an automobile startup, and I mentored him for his entire company. This is the review which I've gotten from Manoj. Sorry. This is the review which I got from Manoj. He was an IIM, one of the IIM graduates, and I was mentoring for his startup in terms of product and marketing side. And founder of our ventures had a glowing review for me as well when I was working for him. So you can see some of these testimonials over here, right? So this is just to kind of set some context as in what qualifies me to be having this discussion today. So is this you right now? Can you let me know in the comments, right? That how many of you are at this stage right now? That you are facing, you're doing so many things at the same time. You're in the middle of multiple tasks. You're managing multiple things. You have to constantly firefighting. Is this you right now? Can you let me know in the comments, please? Yes, yes. So a lot of the people are in this same boat, right? That constantly you have to do so many things and you're stuck. And because of that, your mental bandwidth is so occupied in doing all of these things that you're unable to focus on the growth of your business. When in reality, as a founder, our main job is to grow our business, but we are not able to give it the dedicated time because we are constantly firefighting. We are struggling to find good employees, struggling to retain extra employees, right? So how do we get out of that? So, you're having limited new leads and appointments on a month basis, limited new clients every month. You're managing your entire support by yourself. You're managing all the client interactions by yourself. You're struggling to hire and retain good employees. You're following up with the clients by yourself, manually tracking all the tasks, constant firefighting, right? This is not a way to run a business because essentially, just think about it, right? Right now, you are a business. And, if you're from a corporate background, you've just kind of come from a corporate, and over here you're like a full-time employee of your own business. You might think that you're independent, but you're just a full-time employee of a business because imagine if something happens to you, your business will come to a standstill tomorrow with no predictable way of providing for your family or anything, right? This is not a very healthy way to run a business. So that is what is challenging you in the long run. And how much is this costing you, right? Just think about it. How much is your effort worth? How much is your time and effort worth which you're putting in your business, and what it takes to become a so now we'll get into what it takes to become a successful businessman. Do you need to be ultra smart, like a 140 plus IQ? Is that what is required to build a good business, or do you need to work 12 to 14 hours a day? This has been propagated a lot in the propaganda culture today, right? That you need to be hustle 24/7 and all that bullshit. But this is not how you run a business. Or do you need to do both? Definitely not. So this is also another example, right? This person won 5 CR rupees in KBC and he ended up losing everything. So even if you get a jackpot or a lottery and you make the money, you're not going to retain the money with you. So even a lucky draw or a lottery is not going to help you. Working hard and all that is not going to help you, right? So what is actually going to help you in terms of growing your business, and what do we learn from this? That in order to succeed, right, you need to become a millionaire founder with a millionaire mindset to become a real life millionaire. So if you get something suddenly, you're not going to be able to manage it properly or handle it properly. You need to ensure that you're upgrading yourself to that level that you can handle it quite easily, and then it becomes a very easy task to manage yourself going forward. So what are my goals out of this, right? My goals are to provide business growth support to non-VC funded businesses at value pricing. So I extensively work with VC businesses. I help them with raising funds, all the way up to IPO levels. So in fact, I have 2, 3 companies in the pipeline right now. You'll be hearing them in 2025, which they're going to be going to IPO on the main board. and I'm supporting them along the way. So, but why restrict myself to just VC businesses when the real support is required by non-VC funded businesses like yourself? So that is one of my major goals. On a personal level, I want to build one of the largest business consultancy firms in the world. That is, the ultimate motivation for me. So, I didn't have the means to invest in a new business after my business shut down during COVID, because I ended up, so what had happened was I had given a lot of my money. So at the age of 26, I had given almost 1 year of my money to a lot of, real estate developers, builders on rent. And until COVID, I was getting the interest, predictably on time. But after COVID, they were unable to pay me back. And to be honest, I still have not received it back. So that is called a huge financial cash crunch for me. So then at 2020, despite having a huge bank account, lots of money with me, I had to start afresh, completely with no background, nothing. I had to start with zero backing in, with all my money. Despite having all my money, it's stuck with builders which I still haven't received yet. So I started completely afresh. So what I did was I started working on my LinkedIn profile. I started aggressively building relationships, reaching out to prospects, kind of growing it. And over the next 3 years, this is what I reached, right? So this was last year when it was taken in December. So, just over the next 3 years, from 4,000 followers, I reached all the way to 9,000 followers just because I was doing it very consistently, my activities. So I decided to reach out to hundreds of founders, VCs every month and start building relationships with them. So, a lot of times you might be feeling, right, that, if when you do cold prospecting, some of you may like it, some of you may not like it. Some of them would even say bad about you, right? That's a part and parcel of the game, but you have to ensure that you are, braving past that. A lot of times you'll feel like this, you'll be completely stressed, to be burnt out, but it was a part and parcel of the process. I felt that a lot as well when I was prospecting. But within a few months, right, I got my first collaboration with R Ventures, which was one of the leading early stage startup VC companies in India. And that's when I realized that this strategy is an absolute gold mine. And I consistently used this model over the next few years, not only to get the marketing leadership roles in international companies, but also my WTC Pune role as well. And after 2+ years, I discovered this the hard way that, if you've been struggling, this is probably why. That there's a lack of right advisor to guide you on how to market your business. There's lots of extra noise out there from unqualified people. There's a lot of free information, but which is often confusing and sometimes contradicting. So a lot of influencers on YouTube, right? What they typically tend to do is they'll create clickbait content to kind of trigger you, kind of get them to click and watch their video. But the actual information is something. The truth is something else, and they deliberately don't say that because their agenda is to get the clicks and the views rather than actual education. So because of that, it sometimes creates contradicting information, a lot of confusion out there. Competitors are ruining the market. There are ultra sensitive price clients, right? Ultra price sensitive clients. So when you charge them a certain amount, the client is like, "Kitna discount kar sakte ho? What can you do?" So that becomes extremely difficult in the long run. And especially the advancements in marketing and technology which have happened, especially with the oncoming of Chat GPT, right? It's phenomenal at the next level. And obviously, yes, tough economic conditions over the last 4 years. So typically the hard way of what we've been forced to do for the past many years is, majority of the businesses are relying on word of mouth and referrals. And even though we are a part of BNI, we do a lot of referrals to each other, in terms of growing business for one another. But the point is, referrals it cannot be your only strategy to grow your business, because there is only so much that you can grow on referrals. Now, they'll only be limited to your existing clients and your existing network. How do you grow your business beyond referrals? You need to have a predictable strategy even beyond that as well. Ideally, referrals should constitute about 25 to 30% of your entire marketing mix. You should have another channels as well, independent of referrals, to grow your business. That is where your business becomes truly independent and can grow without you or without referrals as well. you know Physical meeting costs, I'm sure when you're doing one-to-ones and you have to travel a lot, you go to a Starbucks, buy a 500 rupees coffee, that becomes extremely expensive as well. Even the cost to travel over there, the coffee money, the travel time, all of that is valuable, right? We kind of absorb the cost without realizing it. But if you actually look at it, all of this takes up at least a few lakh rupees every year, not to mention the time. And you're constantly depending on others for lead generation, right? As I mentioned, this can easily cost up to 2 to 3 lakh rupees a year, and not to mention the opportunity cost with minimal security of repeat business or long-term business security. So unless you have a predictable system to grow your business, dependence on this can cause you long-term damage. So that was my number one point. Anyone knows who this is? Can you let me know in the chat? Any idea? He's one of the biggest business tycoons in India. Everyone knows Ambani, everyone knows Adani. Anyone knows him? No. Okay. So this is Mr. Harsh Mariwala. So Harsh Mariwala is the chairman of Marico. Marico is the parent company behind Parachute, Saffola, all these iconic brands which we know from the 90s. Uh, Coconut oil. Imagine a product like coconut oil, which is a complete commodity, and he created that into a brand. A product like safflower oil, and he created that into a huge brand called Saffola, which is worth thousands of crores today. So I had a meeting with him a few years back, almost like a decade back, because he's from the same community, and we met at a community gathering. So he gave me a lot of important lessons, which I'm going to be sharing with you today. So what the number one lessons which he taught me were that you need to be constantly investing in your business. Uh, we generally tend to forget that to grow your business you need to invest in the business, but we don't actually do that, and we kind of forget that. So that is extremely important, that you constantly need to invest in your business. Invest in the growth of your business, to grow your business, to actively acquire leads, actively close clients, to follow up and service everything, etc. Right? You need to do that. You need to hire the best employees. You need to invest in that. In the 90s, when Harsh Mariwala was competing with the likes of Hindustan Unilever, PNG, which are international conglomerates, right? He was hiring from IIMA, IIM Bangalore, NMIMS as well, and paying them top salary to ensure that even the top, the top graduates, top B school graduates from across the country, they would choose him as well, and not just HUL and Marico. So that is extremely important. Invest in hiring the best marketing for your business. So he hired the best marketing research agency and the best marketing execution agency for his business. Invest in good systems in your business, because you need to create processes which will help in systematize your entire business, right? That's extremely important. He would bookmark 20% of his revenue in new product innovation every year. So his business makes thousands of CR of revenue. Imagine 5,000 CR of revenue of his business, and he invests 20% of that in new product innovation and 20% of his revenue in sales and marketing. How many of us can honestly say that we are investing that much in terms of, how much we are investing in a business that much to grow a business, right? In today's competitive environment, if you're not constantly innovating your product offering, and if you're not constantly investing in growing your sales and marketing, right, you're bound to die, because the market is so competitive. We are seeing so many small businesses, die down. It's become extremely challenging in the long run. So that's why it's extremely important to constantly invest. Only then our business will grow in the long run. So don't think transactional, think value creation. The more value we create in the market, the more money we would make automatically. That is the number one formula today to grow your business. The more value you create, the more value you'll be able to capture back and bring it into your business. So this is what the importance of systems is, right? On the left hand, you have a farmer doing everything manually, or you can use a tractors and do automated agricultural tools, and create like a huge income for yourself. Most farmers in India are struggling because they are doing everything manually, but those who have tractors and who have automated systems, they are thriving. So that is what is required to do in our business as well. And in fact, if you know the industrial revolution, which started in the 16th century, this was exactly that, right? The onset of machines, they completely transited the manual business, and they converted that into automated business. And that is why it completely ate away the handicraft industry, the handloom industry, the cobbler industry. All those industries were completely taken care of. And that is why we need to put those systems in our business as well, in the modern day business. So the systems are not just applicable for product based businesses, they're applicable for service based business as well, which most of us are doing these days right now. So what are these systems about, right? These are lead generation systems, these are lead engagement systems and marketing automation, these are sales systems, these are service delivery systems, these are support systems, they are employee hiring and firing systems, and these are financial systems. All these systems go a long way in terms of systematizing the entire process, in terms of how your business operates, and kind of go further. So today, for this challenge, we're going to be focusing on just the first two, which is lead generation and lead engagement, right? So what are the typical traits of successful entrepreneurs? They understand that success doesn't come quick, easy, or cheap. They are willing to work hard. They are willing to invest. They are willing to learn. They are willing to constantly tweak, what they are doing and grow their business. They understand it's not a get rich quick scheme. They understand it's going to take time. It's going to take effort to kind of grow their business, right? They are willing to do whatever it takes. They always start with value first. Give value to the customer first, and then they will come, to become your clients and help you make money. They are very quick on their feet. So in terms of decision making, they are so sharp and they understand the value of things quickly. And when they are sure that something can give them 2x 3x value of what they are investing, they'll be quick to take a decision. They won't waste, they won't idle away time. They are very quick in terms and very sharp in terms of decision making. They're constantly investing and upgrading themselves. And you need to be willing to put in the MET to upgrade yourself and succeed, which is money, effort, and time. Without this, it's impossible to grow your business, right? So do you have what it takes to become a successful entrepreneur? That is the number one question which you need to ask yourself, right? Are you ready for this? Do you have what it takes? Are you willing to invest to grow into your business? But I'm going to be showing you the AI business growth strategy for the next 3 days starting today, and we're going to be covering it step by step, right? So this is what the entire marketing funnel looks like. How many of you understand the marketing funnel concept? So I can kind of elaborate that right now. Accordingly, I can get into the details of it or simply move on further. Are you familiar with what the marketing funnel concept is? Can you let me know in the chat? No. Okay. So essentially, what a marketing funnel concept means is you have a certain number of leads which you speak to, right? But obviously, not everyone is going to convert into a customer. There is going to be a step-by-step process, a step-by-step journey of how it converts. For example, you'll have the top of the funnel where people will be initially asking you as an inquiry to kind of understand what your services are. That's the top of the funnel. The middle of the funnel is the engagement part, where you constantly engage with them on multiple levels through calls, through emails, through SMS, through WhatsApp, to ensure that you're constantly touch base. And the bottom of the funnel is where the customer actually converts and potentially refers you more customers. So this is how an entire business looks like. So at any point of time, if you have 100 leads which are coming into a system in a year, at best you would convert maybe 20%, 30%, 40% of that, right? So this is a visual representation of what that looks like. And there are ways of how you can optimize the middle of the funnel part, where how you engage that to ensure that the bottom of the funnel increases. And that's what we are going to be discussing. How do you increase the top of the funnel and the middle of the funnel so the bottom of the funnel takes care of itself? That's what we are going to be covering. So there are essentially 4 secrets of client acquisition, right? One is the lead attraction system to attract the prospects. So what do you do? What should you be doing to ensure that you're attracting prospects, which gets them excited to work with you? The problem in today's day and age is it's become so transactional and commoditized that customers will ask, kya service hai, kitna paisa hai, all that stuff. But because of that, what happens is you need to bypass that entire commoditization and position yourself as an expert into your space. And that's how you make it much more easier to kind of convert those customers. So you need to have a proper lead attraction system where the leads themselves are reaching out to you and saying that we want to work with you rather than you chase them. So that requires a huge shift in how your business is operating. Next is how do you build your personal brand using content marketing? I don't think I need to explain you the importance of social media today, right? There are so many people who build long-term brand and authority on social media, and lots of people who are actually unqualified, right? You're probably far more qualified, far more expert in terms of the area of operation which you're doing. But people, by simply creating a social media brand, they are acquiring customers left, right, and center and making tons of money. So this is a no-brainer in today's day and age. And this is something which every business owner needs to do going forward to grow their business. Then we'll get into the organic and the paid ad system, where how you can reach to thousands of prospects across the world every month to create a predictable flow of leads every month. And finally will be the marketing automation system, that how do you automate your marketing system so that long-term trust is built, and how do you automatically follow up with your leads? Because I'm sure you must have like hundreds of contacts in your phones, right? How many of them do you actually talk to, or how many of times do you follow up with with them? Most of you, most even myself included, We forget to follow up with them because it's manually, it's impossible, right? And that's where the automation system comes very handy in terms of following up with them to ensure that you can grow your business sustainably in the long run. So what is the secret number one? So secret number one is to create how to create a lead attraction system. Now, what is a lead attraction system? The lead attraction system is where the customer is himself giving his consent to you to reach out to them. He's reaching out to you that he wants to work with you, or he's reaching out to you, to that voluntarily giving his contact information to you, so that you can then, potentially market to him, sell your services, or just get him added to your subscriber list. That's what the lead attraction system is all about. So a lot of the times in our mind we have this limiting beliefs, right? That I constantly need to sell to my customer. The problem in today's day and age is people are extremely skeptical. People are extremely, whenever you try to sell the customer, right, then instantly there's a great wall of China which opens up in their mind. And they, anything that you say to them, they are always very guarded, because they can understand, subconsciously feel that you're trying to sell to them. That's the number one problem, and that's what we need to kind of flip the mindset. This is used to be a very 80s and 90s concept. You need to aggressively sell to the customer, but in today's day and age, you don't sell to the customer sells itself. And that's what we're going to be covering over the next 3 days. How do you get the customer to sell itself on your solution? So this is a very weird trick which happens. If you do this properly, the customer will convince himself that he needs your solution, and you don't have to do anything. That's what we're going to be getting into in this entire system. Normally we complain that the lead quality is poor. Um, if someone says no to us, rather than blaming the processes or understanding where the problem happened, we would simply blame that the lead quality is poor, or that he did not want the solution, or that he had money issues, or whatever might be the case. But to be honest, that's not always the case, though it might be true in some cases. But I'm sure if you would have done followed up with them properly with the right structure in place, some of those would have converted into your customers. So that is also extremely important, which you need to keep in mind, that it's not always just the lead quality, but there are ways to improve that as well. This is also number one, that customers want everything for free. And I won't deny that that is true to an extent, that customers want everything, at a dirt cheap price and everything. And that is where creating a thoroughbred marketing system for us becomes absolutely important, right? Because imagine if you get dozens of leads or hundreds of leads every month, then you can simply churn out these customers who are freebie seekers, and work on just the cream quality of customers who don't mind paying you for your services. That's extremely vital. And sometimes you might feel that if I share my actual secrets of my trade secrets, so you must be feeling that if I share my trade secrets, the customer won't buy from me. But that's not exactly true, because even if you share some of your secrets of what exactly makes you special, that will build your authority, and the customer would prefer to work with you, especially the good quality customer, because they will then trust you that yes, this person can get my job done. uh, that is the a big belief which you need to kind of break through. And the last one is, I'm incapable to generate leads. Now that is the number one flaw which we need to get out of our mind today. Today what has happened is, so just think about it, 15 years back, right? What was the way to market our business? BNI was one major way where people would get word of mouth and referrals, right? Apart from that, you would do pamphlets, join other events, but that was about it, right? You had no predictable way to generate leads on a predictable system. But now, with the presence of digital media, with the presence of Facebook, Google, and all the stuff, you have a very easy way to generate leads, which is infinitely scalable. So the 15 years back, you had an issues where you did not have Facebook, you did not have Google, and you would struggle with very handful of channels to grow your business. But in today's day and age, that's not the case at all. So what we typically used to do, right? We would be relying on word of mouth or referrals to generate more leads for us. We would be random Facebook spamming, right? There must be these people you must see on Facebook groups, right? They're simply promoting the solution, or these people would be in WhatsApp groups where they'll be randomly promoting the solution and not adding any value over there, or simply praying that you get some leads. How many of us are in this boat where we simply pray to get any leads that we can? So this is a very unfortunate situation for our business. So this is just an example, right? I put this post that I needed references for a good influencer marketing agency who works with micro influencers, and look at some of the responses that I got, right? People are just randomly promoting themselves rather than adding any value. They are just promoting themselves. And do you think any of these stand the chance that that we would work with them? imagine if you are posting this query, would you work with any of these people? Absolutely not, right? So that is the number one challenge which we need to fix. So that is where we are going to be coming up with a new way, a better way, right? Which is the lead magnet system. Does anyone understand the concept of a lead magnet? Kind of. Anyone else? Does anyone understand the concept of a lead magnet? No. Okay. So essentially, some of them are yes, got it. So essentially, a lead magnet is a way to attract the leads to your business, right? Where you give something upfront for free, and at the same time, they'll give you their personal contact information to follow up with them at a future date, whatever that might be. So this is how you attract leads and add into your own system. So how do you create a compelling lead magnet? Uh, Especially over the last 2 3 years, a lot of, as I mentioned, a lot of social media influencers have come up and started offering the system, right? But to do it the right way, where it has the maximum impact, that is extremely vital, right? So we'll get into an exercise of how you can do that right away, right? So please keep your pens and papers handy to kind of note that with you right away. So we'll be taking 60 seconds for each and every step that you can refer it, and get it done. So the first step is to identify your niche. Essentially, identify the exact niche that you are in. And when I say the niche, excuse me, I mean the people whom you want to target. Get the exact niche target and break it down into demographics, into gender, into occupation, into what their values are, into what their locations are. Create this breakdown. So we can spend 60 seconds on this, but we need to ensure that we're getting it done during the challenge itself, because if we wait for it afterwards, we typically don't act on it. So I want to ensure that we get it done, right away. So do it right now in the right away. And once you are done with all this, let me know in the chat as well that you've done. Ideally, get as granular as possible. Who would be the right age for you to reach out to? Who would be the right gender for you to reach out to? Who would be, what locations are you focusing on? What would be the interests? Be as granular as possible in terms of, identifying your niche. And let me know in the comments once you're done. Has anyone done it yet? Done. Got it. Vaibhav has done it. One more. Anyone else? So we'll continue moving forward. I hope that you have recorded into your notebooks for this one, or your Google Sheet, or whatever you're comfortable with. We'll continue forward with this. Next step would be, okay, Sagar is, hold on a second. Next is list out all the problems which your target niche is facing, right? A lot of the times, what we think is one of the problems, but we don't get it right, right? So list down all the problems which they might be facing. Now, in some cases, as Junaid is doing into international student studies, right? And Ketan Bhai is doing that as well. So one problem would be to select the right school. Then it would be to the right travel arrangements. Then it would be the right community, right? Get as granular as possible, right? Think of at least 8 to 9 problems which they would be having before, before when they want to accomplish the task which you can fulfill for them. Think of at least 8 to 9 of them and note it down. So once you note that down, right, start, eh, write out the entire solution to their problems. Writing that down is extremely vital as well. Obviously, you know it on the back of your head, but putting it on paper is absolutely vital as well. All the 9 separate solutions which are there, putting it on paper is also absolutely vital to ensure that, you know, it's there physically someplace. Then you offer your customers a tiny glimpse of your solution. Now, what does this mean? Now, what this means is the solution that you've created, right? You can create into a small format, whatever is relevant for you or your business, right? You can customize according to that. Whether it can be in the form of an ebook, or it could be in the form of a checklist, it could be in the form of a template, or whatever is relevant for you, right? Structure it in a way where the people would consume it properly. That is absolutely vital. Structuring it in a way where people would consume it. So, and then you give it to your customer for free in exchange for giving it their contact information. So you post that in all your social media, and essentially going forward, anytime someone asks, how they can reach out to you, right? Use this website link where you're offering this lead magnet. Use that as your visiting card of sorts. That you want, and for any of your customer who wants to know more about you, right? Simply say them, this is a free resource I have for you. Download it, access it, whatever that you want. Just enter your information and they get it. And they come into your automation system. That's how simple it is. And you capture their email address and phone numbers so you can then follow up with them. So this is what the lead magnet system is all about. And this way you can predictably generate leads, month over month. In fact, through my LinkedIn account itself, I easily generate 100 leads every month simply by doing this. Later, I will show you, the actual leads which I'm getting. I'll show you the actual proof as well, in terms of how I'm getting those. But I'm easily getting like 100 leads every month simply by doing this, nothing else, by offering a free resource upfront. And then I simply follow up with them. And anytime anyone is ready to work with me, they start working with me, and the results are there. As simple as that. So that is what is required. So do you think this lead magnet solution is going to be helpful into your business if you implement this? Can you let me know in the chats? Would this be helpful? I've got one yes. Anyone else? Yes. Great. So this is what this system is about, right? You predictably offer an incentive for customers to sign up with you, and they see your expertise. This does two things at the same time. You get your customers' contact information, number one. You also get, you also prove that you're an authority, because once that solution solves a particular problem for them, they are like, I need to solve my rest of the problems as well. So that also takes care of a lot of things. So that makes it extremely effective and efficient in terms of growing your business. So setting this up, structuring this is absolutely vital. So now we get into secret number 2. The secret number 2 is how to grow your brand and social media using AI and content marketing. That's also we are going to be covering today. So essentially, in our mind, we tend to have a lot of, again, limiting beliefs in terms of why we're not using social media, right? All of us know social media is extremely effective, it's extremely powerful, and yet most of us don't have a strong social media brand, right? Why is that? Some of you might be embarrassed to become like a public figure or public famous, not everyone, of course, not everyone, but some people might feel that way, right? That they would be a bit shy to become a public figure, right? It might be there for some people, but let me tell you, that should not be the case whatsoever, because in today's day and age, Your business needs that. Because even for me, right, even when I'm running paid ads and I get leads coming from paid ads, the first thing that they do, they would go check my LinkedIn. They would see that I'm a huge authority on LinkedIn, and from there I get a lot of customers and I get a lot of leads. So that itself does the selling for me. I don't have to do any selling beyond that. So that's why it becomes extremely important. Um, so get that out of your head. Next, a lot of people might think social media is just for entertainment, right? So obviously, Instagram, YouTube, people watch a lot of funny videos in these things, and people might think that it's just for entertainment. What business can people do over here? But let me assure you, people are doing hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue purely on social media. In fact, the largest, so there was this young girl, uh, Kylie Jenner. She's a billionaire at the young age of 25 or something, and her entire brand is on Instagram, and her company was valued at $1 billion. And even one of the WWE superstars, The Rock, he started his own whiskey company purely on the back of social media, and his business is worth over $1 billion as well. So if you think social media is just for entertainment, you're completely incorrect. There are tremendous amount of money to be made on social media. Social media is just for children to waste time. Not exactly. Social media has a lot of productive uses as well in terms of getting leads for your business, building your brand. It is extremely useful. So if you're having this thought in your head, just don't let this stop you. It will take a lot of time for me, which I don't have. Surprisingly, it doesn't take much of your time, barely 2 hours a week. In just 2 hours a week, you can schedule your entire weeks of content, and I'm going to show you how you can do that, and that will build your brand in the long run. And imposter syndrome. Now, what is imposter syndrome? A lot of you must be feeling, not a lot of you, some people sometimes feel that, that they're actually not good enough. This is something which is very inherent in the mind, which is not very obvious. And to be honest, sometimes even I face that, right? Despite all my accomplishments, everything that I've done, right? I sometimes still feel that I'm not good enough. And a lot of other people might be feeling that way as well, right? That, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not up to it? And this is just our fear holding us back. So it's important for us to break through that and not let it stop us from doing something which is important for our business. Also, this channel would be, that social media leads up poor quality. That is not the case. It is about how you are marketing your business. It's not quality of leads is not determined by social media. It comes by how you're engaging with them once they come inside. That determines whether the lead quality is poor or not. So once we sort the entire backend, then the lead quality will automatically improve. So earlier, before ChatGPT came on, right? What we used to have to do, we would have to hire expensive marketing agencies, create a complicated content strategy. Content writing would be there. You have to create graphics, research posts, and hashtags. All of this would used to be extremely complicated and extremely challenging, right? So, but because of that, a lot of people were struggling to create content, and that's why it was extremely difficult to become a brand over there. But especially in today's day and age, it has become extremely simple, and that's what I'm going to be showing you, a new and a better way of using AI content marketing to build your brand, right? So again, coming back to the niche point, right? Just go back to the niche which you did in the last step, right? In the last secret which we done. Use that same target audience which you've identified, and use the problems as well. And then you start using Chat GPT. In Chat GPT, you can simply start putting the prompts over there, right? To simply put a prompt that, especially, so there's a specific content strategy we'll follow, which I'll be showing you going forward. So you simply ask the Chat GPT, my target audience, this is facing this problem. Please create a 30-day content strategy for me. And you will see a content plan like this come out simply from Chat GPT. Now, obviously, what I explained you right now is a very minimalistic, a very basic version of it. The actual version is far more detailed and comprehensive, which we'll discuss, once we get inside. But this will, simply create the content for you, content plan for you, the 30-day content plan, which you can use. And then for each and every day, use the Chat GPT to create the content. Then you edit the content and post it. That's as simple as that. So the person in the middle over here is a very renowned Indian VC called Arjun Vedya, and is a very good friend of mine. So, I create content like this left, right, and center, and that's what I've typically used to grow my following on LinkedIn. So AI content marketing can completely change the game for your business. So if you do this properly, right, and if you do it consistently, there is no way that you cannot get leads on a month-on-month basis. So who thinks AI content marketing is awesome? So let me show you one of the testimonials. Testimonials of one of the clients I was working for, right? Originally, even he was very skeptical and very, very reserved in terms of how do we go about things, right? Just listen to what he had to say. थोड़ा माइंडसेट शिफ्ट कर दिया, थोड़ा ऑफरिंग चेंज कर दिया और उससे दिस इज 10x. Right. Absolutely. Will completely change the way that I am charging to the clients. I can even charge more, like I can get any amount of money, depends on my offerings and everything. So it's unlimited, depends on client's product selling and everything. Exactly. And believe it or not, it's not even working that hard. इसमें आपको ज्यादा काम करने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. जो आप existing काम कर रहे हो, same काम इसमें रहेगा. हाँ. But with the same work, with the help of the new leverage, you'll be able to generate way more results, which you otherwise did not. Right, right.